So recently, a lot of people have been very interested in where Filian is at. And well, it seems that we have some more updates in terms of people around her talking about the situation, as recently we've been discussing a couple of people. Now, of course, Filian has not really had any kind of update in terms of removing videos or anything. That was the most recent update we really had from her, was the fact that, her profile picture was fading, videos were being removed. And well, it's been, what, almost a month now, and it seems like we haven't had any kind of video removal or anything like that, right? It's been quite a while, and yeah, people are starting to wonder, well, where exactly is she? We thought that this was going to lead up to some kind of countdown towards her coming back, and that maybe all of her videos would be gone and the profile picture would be fully faded, and that's when she would be returning. But as I said, there's been no update, there's been nothing, and there's been yeah, pretty much a silence from Filian since then, right? And, a lot of people have been kind of talking about it, speculating what it could mean, what it could be. And we recently covered, obviously, a clip from Camila talking about the fact that, Filian has a lot of plans, right? She doesn't plan to go away and, actually graduate or anything like that, like some people were trying to speculate or say, because, again, it just doesn't make sense. It seems like she has a lot of things that she wants to do, so it doesn't make sense for her to, leave. It doesn't make sense for her to stay away, which obviously is just, yeah, it's insane. But of course, Camilla obviously talks about, what she thinks it might be and whatever. And if you guys want to go back and look at that video, then I definitely recommend checking it out. Of course, yeah, we covered the whole thing. Now, there has been some responses though from other friends as well, which obviously you may know about, being Drumsy, who obviously is a big VR chat YouTuber and everything like that, and obviously, yeah, knows Filian quite well and has appeared in videos and whatever. And of course, yeah, he has actually responded to a post, obviously, as people saying, can't believe Filian is gone. I didn't ever know she was sick. Drumsy says she's alive, but I'll never tell you where she is. So yeah, obviously, it seems like some of the friends now are starting to kind of hype up exactly where she's at, and hyping up this hiatus, I guess, right? And a lot of people have been responding to this, saying, did Filian go beyond the ice wall? Saying Filian is at SourceCon last week, and surprised nobody reported on this. Proof of life. It says she's in your basement, providing you free electricity by doing lots of stunts in exchange for fruit snacks. Saying sometimes we just need a break, and she's been grinding so hard for so long. She deserves a break, which I do think is true, right? Obviously, a lot of people have been trying to say, oh, maybe she should rush coming back or whatever. No, I think that obviously she does deserve that break. She does deserve, the time off, however long she needs. Obviously, it's just weird because it's been quite a while, right? It's been like, what? It's coming up to almost half a year now. And a lot of people are like, this is quite a long hiatus, which obviously is fine. But as I said, it's definitely not the norm, right, for a hiatus. Now they're saying, let me guess, she's ours for the digging and you left her in one piece. Said, damn, did you hurt her corpse or something? Honestly, when I saw this notification, my mind immediately jumped to Illy, grasping the ideas of a small sliver of hope that she's still somewhere. Again, obviously, there's this whole thing with Illy. Obviously, if you don't know, Drumsy, he interacts with a lot of people, including, as I said, Filian, but also Illy, who obviously recently passed away, unfortunately. But, obviously, he's been doing a lot of merch stuff, I think, and kind of selling some things to kind of raise money, for, I think it's charity, or at least for some funds to do stuff. So again, I definitely go check that out. People are still chatting about that, and people have brought that up whenever it comes to Filian's hiatus as well. Could it be due to something like that? Now, again, I don't think it is, right? Obviously, I'm sure Filian was upset as well by everything that's gone on, but I don't think she took a hiatus because of that. I don't think it was, maybe as part of it, but, you wouldn't be away for this long. And obviously, Drumsy's back making content or whatever, and I'd argue he's one of the closest, was one of the closest to her. But again, obviously, maybe it is, but again, I didn't really want to speculate that too much because I feel like that's a bit, it's a bit sad, and obviously it's a personal thing. So again, there's been many theories though, as we covered before. We talked about the people talk about the whole pregnant theory, which again, I don't know if that's the case. I feel like it's not. Maybe if she stays away for like another 9 months, then potentially, or not another 9 months, but for an extra 3 months on top of the 6 months or whatever, then maybe. But again, even then, I think it's a bit weird to kind of speculate that kind of stuff too, because again, it just doesn't really make sense. Of course, my kind of theory, as I said, is that, you know, she's probably just taking a break, maybe have some stuff, you know, planned, for example, a new VTuber model, and a more original one, obviously, with the whole kind of stuff that went down, as well as maybe some just new stuff in general that she is planning, and maybe this is planning time, right? And we covered the fact as well, of, you know, potentially this could be her dragging it out even longer, right? It could be, you know, it was supposed to be a short hiatus maybe, and it could be like, you know, supposed to be only a couple of months long, and then obviously, you know, people started talking about it, asking where she was, and now it's becoming more and more prevalent, to the point where people are, you know, continually talking about it, and then, yeah, now, she just like went, you know what, screw it, let's just continue it, and, you know, kind of make people wait even longer. But one thing I do find pretty interesting, right, because I think Trigger Point has actually made a couple of newer posts on this. You know, Drumsy actually, you know, quote retweeted the post from 2025. Obviously, she hasn't been on hiatus. I don't think she was on hiatus then. No, she wasn't. So again, obviously, you know, this is just from something else, from another thing from Scuchan's stream, right? But again, I do find it pretty interesting, right? I don't know what the kind of significance of that is. But obviously, Drumsy is talking about the hiatus, as far as I know, right? Whereas this one is talking about a separate situation. So if you're a little bit confused on that, or wondering like, oh, you know, maybe he's just talking about, you know, something that, or like not even talking about the hiatus in general, I think it's pretty clear he is, because I feel like that's the topic that everybody has been talking about lately, and it seems like everybody is discussing where she is at the moment. Like, I didn't really expect it to get like this big, right? Obviously, you know, some people wonder where a VTuber is whenever they go on a hiatus, or whenever they go on a break or whatever. They you know, talk about it maybe in like a subreddit or whatever, being like, oh, where is she, by the way? And some person like updates them on like how they're doing. But with Filian, it seems like it's like developed into like a whole trend, right? It's developed into a whole like thing where people are like, where is she? You know, Filian is lost, all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, people have been discussing it quite a bit, you know, over on Twitter and Reddit, and obviously now it's gotten to the point where even her friends are commenting on it, with obviously Camila and you know, Drumsy talking about it. But maybe there'll be more people as well that she's interacting talking about it. You never know. But we'll have to wait and see. Hey, maybe even Neuro might talk about it. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update on that. And yeah, as I said, it seems like so far what we know is that Camila, you know, has told us that she has plans for big things. You know, she has plans for the future, and it doesn't make sense for her to, you know, leave permanently. So if that is something that you're worried about, actually worried about, then that is not the case. That will not be happening. So don't worry about that. And obviously, it seems like with a lot of people like Drumsy, and also Chacha, your V-Mum as well, a while back, talking about it, and, you know, saying she's live, but I never tell you where she is. It seems like they're in on the joke. It seems like potentially, you know, they may even be talking to her, probably will, probably have been talking to her, considering they're friends. And yeah, obviously, it seems like maybe something could be coming in the future, but we'll have to wait and see what that thing is, and maybe it might be a little bit longer until we actually finally see what it is that is coming. But hey, you know, as I said, we'll have to see. But that's what I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStops, use my code Kazza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.